In 1988, South Africa's everyday pocket change carried with it both value and history, and among those small treasures was the humble 2-cent coin. Struck in bronze, its warm reddish-brown tone gave it a distinct presence, a small but meaningful part of the nation's currency system. Measuring just 18 millimeters across and weighing 2.5 grams, it was light and easy to carry, often found jingling alongside the 1-cent pieces in the hands of school children, workers, and shopkeepers. The obverse of the coin bore the country's coat of arms, a symbol of national pride and authority, surrounded by the words, South Africa, written in both English and Afrikaans, reflecting the bilingual nature of the nation at the time. On the reverse, the design was simple yet memorable. A pair of King Protea flowers, South Africa's national flower, bloomed proudly, representing resilience, beauty, and the unique natural heritage of the land. Above the flowers, the number 2 stood clear, a reminder of its modest value, yet for many, it carried enough to buy a small sweet or contribute toward the price of bread. Though it was considered a low-denomination coin, the 1988 2-cent piece played an important role in the daily lives of ordinary South Africans. It was part of the second decimal coin series, first introduced in 1965, when the country shifted from the old system of pounds, shillings, and pence to the modern rand. By the late 1980s, inflation had already begun to erode the spending power of the smallest coins, but they still circulated widely, passing from hand to hand in shops, markets, and bus fares. For collectors today, the 2-cent coin of 1988 is more than just bronze and numbers. It is a piece of history from a time when South Africa was on the edge of great political and social changes. While most of these coins have since faded into jars of old change or vanished from circulation altogether, each surviving piece holds the memory of its era, a reminder of a nation's journey, told through the smallest details of its currency. As the years moved forward, the 1988 2-cent coin slowly began to lose its importance in daily transactions. By the early 1990s, inflation made the smallest denominations less practical, and people often left them lying forgotten in drawers or tucked away in piggy banks. Shops and markets gradually rounded off prices, and what once could buy a sweet or a small household item no longer held purchasing power. Yet even as its economic value diminished, its symbolic worth quietly grew. For many South Africans, the coin became a marker of memory. It was a reminder of childhood days when every cent mattered, when a handful of small change could bring joy. For others, it stood as a silent witness to a period of change and uncertainty in the country's history. The late 1980s were years of tension and transition, and while politics unfolded on the larger stage, everyday life was recorded in small objects like coins that passed between countless hands. Over time, the 2-cent coin was eventually withdrawn from circulation, disappearing from pockets and purses but living on in collections. Today, finding a 1988 2-cent piece brings with it a certain nostalgia. Its bronze surface may have darkened with age, the edges may show the marks of circulation, yet these imperfections tell a story of countless exchanges, of daily routines, and of a time when the smallest coin still played a role in the rhythm of life. To collectors, the coin now carries historical significance. While it may not be considered rare or especially valuable in monetary terms, its worth lies in what it represents. Each piece is a preserved fragment of South Africa's past, linking generations through something as simple as metal, design, and date. For those who hold it, the 1988 2-cent coin is more than just currency. It is a tangible piece of history, a little window into a world that has changed, but not been forgotten. In the years that followed, South Africa's monetary system continued to adapt, and eventually the 1-cent and 2-cent coins were officially withdrawn from circulation. By the early 2000s, inflation had reduced their purchasing power to almost nothing, and shops began rounding prices to the nearest 5 cents. What once was a useful coin for small purchases now had no place in the fast-changing economy. The demonetization of the 1 and 2 cent coins marked the end of an era. For ordinary citizens, it meant no longer fumbling for tiny pieces of bronze at shop counters, or finding them stuck at the bottom of a pocket. For collectors, however, it opened a new chapter. Coins that were once so common they were ignored suddenly became part of a closed history. Every 1988 2-cent coin still in existence became a little relic, no longer money, but memory. Some families held on to them unknowingly,